Welcome, everybody. My name is Marilee Burnett, and I am your astrologer, back with the messages for the week of May 13th, 2024. So thank you for joining me. If you are new to my channel, don't forget to click the subscribe button, and that way you'll get a notification if you follow me and then want to see these Astrolessons weekly. You'll know when I post them. Also, make sure you tune into the weekly tarot lesson. I try to post them pretty close together as well. That gives you a really full picture of the energy this week and what you can expect and what you can start to create by joining with the energy and wanting to work with it. Of course, you can visit me on my website, marileeburnett.com, for all kinds of free resources, or to book a session with me if you want to know specifically what's going on in your chart and what to expect from the week ahead. So we have a pretty jam-packed energy week, so we are going to get down to it. If, again, this is the first time you're watching this, I break down the energy day by day for the week ahead, and you can, again, pull up your own chart, take a look at what's going to be happening, and see how it will be impacting you for a more individual experience. So with that, let's just jump right in. I use the Astro Gold program. So that's the chart that you see on the screen in front of you. And I have us taking a look at Monday. So as we start the week ahead, what you're going to see with the bold lines is the energy that is most impactful. Blue is supportive energy. Red energy can be a little bit more challenging. So what we see here is Venus in her home sign of Taurus, sitting at 17 degrees and speaking exactly in harmony with Saturn in Pisces, also at 17 degrees. This creates a 60-degree angle, and that is a sextile. So sextile is really gentle energy. It's easy energy. And sometimes we don't even notice it. But whenever Saturn's involved, we do notice it. Because Saturn brings structures, it brings restriction, and it can bring rewards as long as we're doing the hard work. So Venus is love and beauty and money and valuables and the things that we value and beauty, right? So there's something that you want to be paying attention to on Monday that Saturn energy is trying to tune you into, give you a plan, something that you want to execute against. And when you do, there can be a great reward. But you're definitely taking money more seriously, maybe love more seriously, maybe your spirituality as far as making money because of the fact that Saturn's in Pisces. There could be healing. All kinds of possibilities. So take a look in your chart where you have this conversation happening. It's brief, it's pretty quick. Maybe you started to feel some kind of a influence about the energy on Sunday as Venus was approaching her connection with Saturn, but it's at a peak as of Monday, and so that may be where you notice it most. Also on this day and for this week, Mercury is finishing its time in Aries, which has been seeming to go on forever. And so it will be out of post shadow. It will be starting to move forward, and it will be shifting. And so we'll talk about that more as we look ahead this week as well. The other big energy that can cause things to be shocking and surprising is this connection that's happening between the Sun and Uranus in the sign of Taurus. Now, there could be financial surprises. There can be earthly surprises. I think this is a big reason why we got to see the northern lights in places that you wouldn't expect, right? Because Uranus brings us the unexpected. The Sun's bringing all the solar flares and the electromagnetic fields, and right? So there could be something even more shocking and surprising that we will see on Monday as these two speak exactly together in harmony. So that can cause some surprises. They can be things that feel a little unsettling, but whenever you get shaken out of your comfort zone by Uranus, by that little lightning bolt, by the inventions, creative things that move us forward, it's for a reason. Now, the sun is our ego self, it's our success. So you could find success today, something that brings you joy and happiness in an unexpected way. So again, take a look at where's all this activity been happening for you in your life, in your chart, where this Taurus energy is. So if you were a Leo rising, for instance, and if you happen to watch my tarot card reading, I said, hey, Leos, you actually got the Sun card this week, which means a big success. And since this is in this 10th house, Leo risings, it does seem like there's a surprise in store for you from your career perspective. So make sure you go watch that video for more details for every sign out there as well. So that's a pretty big magnetic way to get us started. And you see a little bit of tension here early in the day as, speaking of Leo, the moon moves into Leo, which can make things fun for the next couple of days. The moon takes about 2.5 days to move through every sign. When it's in Leo, emotionally, we feel fun, we feel free-spirited, we have a sense of joy about us. But there's something with Pluto opposition here, and Pluto, as you can see in the red, means that it's now retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. So it's going back over what we've just been uncovering, because there's more that we need to see about our connections, about our inventions, about the internet. So this says to me, for instance, this TikTok battle with them coming back to sue the U.S. government so that they don't get banned without having to sell. There is a long battle in store for us as Pluto spends its time going back over this energy that can rule over the internet. And of course, Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, at least present day. So there is a bit of a battle, right? The moon is what we need to feel safe and secure, so we want to just have fun. But this Pluto energy is saying that you are struggling to have fun in the way that you would normally like to, which is this whole TikTok storyline. So maybe there is something that will show up on Monday that tells us more. So that is how we are going to start the week. It's a big week. Now, I've also been talking a lot in my tarot videos about how you want to show up with the energy in order to invite it in, right? It's not about sitting and waiting for things to happen to you. It is about joining with the energy to actually make things happen for you, right? So be a bit unique, right? With this Uranus energy. Get out of your comfort zone, do something unusual, celebrate yourself, right? And with this Venus and Saturn energy, for instance, maybe you want to take your financial decisions more seriously. You want to create a budget for yourself. Do something along those lines to, again, join with the energy and invite more opportunities in that match it. Okay, let's jump ahead to Tuesday. And I don't usually spend a lot of time only focusing in on the nodes, or the moon. But when they are joining together, it's always good to pay attention, right? This is a fated event. The nodes are points, mathematical points that surround the moon. So then you would think when the moon is actually having its conversation, as it does frequently with the nodes, it's time to pay attention, right? There can be fated events going on. And what we're going to notice now is the nodes have finally gotten off that 15 degree. Kind of felt like they were sitting there for quite a while. So as the nodes move down to 14 degrees, they're past the halfway point of the work that we're doing with Aries and Libra, where the South Node is. So pay attention to your intuition on Tuesday. There may be literally a fated kind of download that comes through that you want to pay attention to. and that energy will help you in some way on some kind of work or mission that you have to do. So it's just, again, important to tune in, pay attention. I would say to join with the energy with the moon in Leo, to go out and do something fun, something playful, something childlike. And as you do that, maybe have a fated meeting with somebody. Okay? Keep me posted on that. Let's move ahead to Wednesday. So I spoke to you earlier about Mercury finishing up its time in Aries and now finally moving out of Aries and into the sign of Taurus. Now, Aries energy is fire and passion, right? Mercury is our conversations, it's communication, it's transportation. And so now things are going to shift. The way you think, the way you communicate, what you're focusing your mind on moves out of yourself, right? Aries first house, and into Taurus, which has a lot to do with the money that we make, the values that we have, and it's earthy and grounded, right? It slows things down. You may be focused on the earth, right? So this is a time for the next 3 weeks where we're more focused in the way we think about our money. So we're going to see a lot of things related to finances that will spark conversation over the next several weeks. So you should start to feel a shift this day in particular, and you may be forced to kind of slow down. So it's a good day actually for connecting to the earth, sitting outside, doing meditation, setting intentions. With this last new moon that was in the sign of Taurus, I always recommend writing out your new moon intentions and planting them in the earth and then letting those seeds grow. So you could take advantage of Mercury moving into Taurus and doing something similar in case you didn't take advantage of that new moon intention setting period. So here's the beginning of a new shift in our way of thinking and communicating with one another. So be prepared to slow down, and it might help you to be able to slow down your thinking just a bit. All right, let us take a look at Thursday. So what you notice on Thursday, speaking of Mercury in Taurus, is its first real conversation is a difficult one as it squares off with Pluto in Aquarius. So again, the way that you think, what you think about, maybe the way you think about money and how you make it, how you value it, there's something that needs to change. When we get a square, there's something that we need to change. Pluto's trying to bring around transformation, right? How do we connect with other people? How are we networking, right? How are we being inventive and creative and unique? Instead of, if you think about what I just described about Taurus energy, digging in, slowing down, being stubborn, wanting things just one particular way, that's not what you're supposed to be doing. There's something more unique, more creative, more about being your unique self that you need to explore on this day. It's always pretty brief conversation because Mercury moves so fast, but as it speaks with Pluto, planet of death and transformation and power, facing our fears so that we can turn those into power instead, there's something really important. There may be a really important conversation happening in your life in the areas that you have, of course, Pluto and Mercury transiting in your chart. So pay attention to the conversations around you. Watch your email, watch your mail, any place that you get communication, and drive really carefully today because Mercury does rule transportation. This is the planet of death and transformation, so you don't want to get yourself in a difficult situation that causes a problem with your commute on this day. So just stay aware and, again, give people in front of you plenty of space. Stay off your phone. All those good practices while you're out and about on Thursday. All right. Let's see. Let's look at Friday. On Friday, as we have more of the conversation going on between Mercury and Pluto. You'll notice they're exact now and both at 2 degrees. What I find fascinating about the number 2 on this day is how much it is showing up. So number 2 is the number of balance, right? Giving and receiving, back and forth. So here we have, again, Mercury is exact in its square. So we really want to be careful and balanced with how we're communicating with other people. So that's the first one. The second piece here is the moon in Virgo is at 22 degrees. Now, a moon in Virgo likes a lot of control over its feelings and wants to know all the facts and the details. It's not just about trusting your intuition. It's like you need proof that what you think is real is real, right? It's like you can't just trust it and have faith. You got to have some facts and some details. But it happens to speak in harmony with Venus also at 22 degrees on this day. So there is some potential for you to get a bit of a, maybe it's either a love surprise or a love connection or a financial surprise. And the number 22 is a master builder number. A master number in numerology means you have repeating numbers, like we see 1111 and we wish, right? Because a portal opens. And 22s are an opportunity to build something, right? With someone else. It isn't something that you necessarily are building just for your own sake or your own good. So you really want to tune in. It's a pretty beautiful energy. And again, it's earthy. So you want to get outside, connect with earth, connect with nature, beautify your yard, your home, right? The moon is home. Do cleaning. When the moon's in Virgo, as it will be Thursday, Friday, those are really good days to work on cleansing your home, using sage, feng shui things where you're looking at the room and the colors and the space and your organization. So focus on that on Friday and see what new opportunities present themselves to you. That's going to be a really good day. Still have this energy building. So we'll talk about Mars here in a moment. So let's move to Saturday. So on Saturday, we start to see this beautiful opportunity in Taurus. So we've got now Venus speaking exactly with Uranus. We've got the Sun speaking with Jupiter. There is some big opportunity that could surprise you. It could amaze you. You could be rewarded. This, of course, always depends on what it is that you're doing. What are you working on? Are you a spiritual worker, right? Because we have Neptune in Pisces at the last 29 degree, which is, wrapping up the last 14 years of work you've been doing while Neptune's been traveling through the sign of Pisces. So it's speaking in harmony with this energy of Jupiter and the Sun, and it will be for the next several days. Now, Jupiter grows whatever it touches, good or bad, right? Sometimes Jupiter teaches us lessons by making things so ridiculously obvious that we finally have to get the lesson. And then other times we've been doing the work, right? We're doing the lessons, we're following the instructions, and then we may see this, wonderful, amazing reward, right? The Sun in Taurus can again bring you a financial blessing. It's definitely a feel-good kind of day. You don't want to overindulge, so you always have to be careful. Taurus loves its comfort food, loves beautiful things, loves to spend money, also loves to make the money. So there is something about the financial picture that could really benefit you now, but it could surprise you too because of the fact that Venus is now conjunct to Uranus. So this is surprising, shocking, unexpected, falling in love with something or someone you never expected you would fall in love with because they're so different than the picture you had in your head. Now, I would be very cautious about doing anything beauty related on Saturday because this could be an unexpected outcome, but Hey, if you need to do a beauty makeover because you've been so stuck in a rut and you aren't concerned about outcomes, maybe that's the energy that you need to tap into, right? However, most people aren't like that when it comes to their beauty and their looks. So I would just really, really caution you. But it is, again, a good day to do something outside your normal comfort zone because you just might be completely amazed and surprised at what kind of goodness shows up for you as a result. So that's really a big day that I just can't emphasize enough. As Jupiter, like I said, can bring you blessings, but it can also show you if you're being an egomaniac because of the fact that it is talking to the sun. Now, this also is going to start this new cycle. We're about to see Jupiter leave Taurus and move into the sign of Gemini. So this is it. This is 12 years before you will see Jupiter in Taurus show up for you again. Now you can look back to 2012 and see what the 12-year cycle has been about, what is currently ending for you, what you want to be completing. But there is this cleansing going on, this rebirth of this Jupiter energy in your chart. So pay close attention with what's being offered to you at this time because you fully want to take advantage of it. All right, let us move on into Sunday, where you're going to see all of this energy is still showing up. Venus is slightly moving past it, and the sun jumps ahead of Jupiter as it is about to finish its time in the sign of Taurus and then kick us off next week with Gemini season. So the sun is going to jump in there first and get us a preview, right? It's going to shine a light. But today it is finishing shining its light on the lessons that you've been working on while we have had the sun in the sign of Taurus. And of course, a lot of activity has been happening in this area of your chart as well. So what's the lessons been over the last month? What are you ready to conclude? Is it, again, work on your spirituality? Is it your creativity? Is it about your musical gifts? What gifts is it? And then the other thing is when the sun is on Neptune in the water sign, speaking with this nice blue harmonious line here, right? It can help you see things that have been beneath the surface, things that need to come up to the surface so that you can deal and resolve them. So there's a big amount of energy this weekend that we want to show up for. So if you are some kind of a creative artist, spend some time this week on your gifts, because you might be amazed with all this positive energy pouring into them at how big you are as a success as a result of taking advantage of what is showing up for you. Now, I mentioned earlier that I'd talk about Mars shortly. So here now, Mars is almost halfway through its home sign, right? So it is sitting now having a conversation with the North Node. So this is a big, important lesson about taking action on something that you're truly passionate about, something for just you, right? So this is a fated action, right? It's fated passion. It is fated as far as, aggressiveness. But it's just very much focused on you, your wants and your needs, and moving away from it. I find this just, again, an interesting moment right here, specifically at this early part of the morning, where the moon is also in the sign of Libra, conjunct to the South Node. So intuitively, you're going to know Sunday what it is that you've got to let go of, where you're being held back as far as a relationship goes. Some injustice in your life. Maybe there's a legal battle you need to let go of, but there's a big releasing energy that when you do it, it's going to allow you to pursue this passion of yours, this thing that is for just you and nobody else. It's not that you would have to, walk away from and end some relationship, but there are those that are in places, jobs, relationships where they've been stuck for too long. And now it's time to act. Now it's time to get out of those situations that aren't for you. Now, it's been since 2005 that we last saw the nodes coming through Aries and Libra. So there might be a big 19-year cycle that's coming to an end for you. And this time around, you're choosing yourself instead of overly focused on other people. This is a great time to break habits of codependency, for example. So there, again, big energy opportunity on Sunday. It's faded when we're dealing with the nodes. We have strengths, we have things, we have lessons from the past. We may have people that show up from the past that help us understand ourselves better and where we may have made a choice in the past that we don't want to repeat. So huge energy this week as we see all of this movement happening. So it's just, I love this week. And I love it especially because it is helping us get prepared for next week. And next week is an amazing, incredible full moon in Sagittarius, while we have Jupiter and Venus at the last anaretic degree. So some major intensity here. And this energy with Pluto speaking in harmony with this full moon energy. So we'll, of course, talk more about that next week. I'll break it down by sign, what you can expect. But as I tapped into this energy when I was writing the May monthly horoscope and the full moon article, which you want to go to my website to check out, it felt really good. Now, maybe that's just my chart. I have some really good things going on that weekend that I didn't realize aligned so well, but of course they do. But usually I get a general sense of the energy as I write my articles early, and this one felt really good. So I can't wait to dig into this more with you next week. If you want to dig in earlier than that, maybe book a special reading with me. I do have special pricing where we only focus in on the new moons and full moons, so that it's just something that is more pinpointed and can be shorter. And so it's really affordable. So check out my website for my special offers. It's right on the front page. Love to work with you if that's what your goal is. And if not, just keep watching all of this free resources for you because I like sharing them. I know my channel is small but mighty, so I appreciate all of you. Please share my work with somebody else that you think could benefit from it. I would really appreciate it. And I can't wait to hear how the week goes, so please share your comments with me down below, and we will talk again next week. Take care, everybody.